Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they speak to you. If you are already a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share. And if you should so choose and this resonates or somebody else might get something out of it, hit that subscribe button. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your key to the week this week, before we get into that, actually on the 26th of May at 8 p.m. UK time, we are going to be talking astrology of the eclipse with Achyuta Bhava Das. This is a big deal for me. You know, he's a really great astrologer. He will be talking astrology, I will be talking tarot, and we're going to see where they meet in the middle for all 12 signs and the eclipse as a whole. So don't forget to check it out. Your key to the week this week is the Star card, and that gives you in a lot of ways, this week you're going to be getting a big overview. This could be a week where you actually, even with the whole Mercury retrograde thing, you might this week be able to see a little glimpse, a tiny little peek through the window. You might even be able to get a bird's eye view of something, and you know, detail tends to be what you're really good at, right? You're really, and especially with things that are technical and stuff, which is great. But this week, my dear Geminis, I want you to start thinking about the bigger or broader picture. The bigger you can think, the more you can zoom out to look at things as a whole, the better you will fare this week. If you try to get into the detail too much, you'll just get bogged down with it. And not only that, by taking that sort of zoom out, you will get a big overview. You'll get a big sort of glance where you're able to kind of look at things and say, right, okay, now that I can see, it's almost like being able to see yourself walking through a maze, right? So if you were able to project your consciousness up and you could see your body down there, and it's like, oh, okay, well, the path's really simple. All you've got to do is this, this, and this, right? Whereas when you're in it, because you can only see what's in front of you, that's the issue. So this week, I would pay attention to the bigger picture. Think broader. You could be getting a glimpse in some way, shape, or form. For your actions and options this week, you have the King of Wands, right? So this week, you could be connecting with or collaborating with an online group of some sort. This could have any sort of reach. This could be things like poetry, spoken word. This could be, you know, a digital hangout, a digital meeting of some sort, which would be really good. Another thing that comes up is this week you may be thrust into a position of leadership in some way, shape or form, in a group situation, in a tribe situation. You might kind of be, you know, like when you see like on TV or on a film sometimes, like somebody needs to go to the front and everybody pushes one person forward. That could be you this week. You can find that you've got all these people behind you like, well, yeah, ask them. And you're kind of like, okay, so I've just been nominated the leader. Great. And I actually think it will be great. I think you've got a lot to offer. I think this could be a really good moment of advancement for you, and it's one that you might not necessarily be seeking or looking for, but is thrust upon you. You are definitely up to the challenge. All right, for your communications and conversations, you've got the Judgment card. For some of you, this could literally be reconnecting with a friend. You could, especially if you've had, like, say, maybe challenges with a friend, maybe you have had issues with somebody, maybe this is an ex, maybe it's, you know, somebody that you are tied to through a group situation as well this week. And, you know, because things are awkward between you, it kind of makes things awkward in the whole group. Well, this week you have a chance or an opportunity to bury the hatchet. It might not ever go back to what it was, but there's definitely a chance for some sort of advancement to be made in that regard, and I think you should go for it. For those of you that work for somebody else, this is, I mean, the Judgment card kind of suggests that this week you are going to be very aware of how long the shelf life is on the current job that you have or on the current situation. I think this week you are going to feel quite I don't want to tell you how to feel, but you may feel frustrated this week that things aren't necessarily going in a direction that you would like. And so this week you might say to yourself, okay, you know what? I got to set a deadline. When is this going to be up? When is this going to be over? When is it I'm going to be beyond this? For those of you that work for yourselves, business owners, entrepreneurs, etc., this is really seeking out different groups. This is seeking out not only different groups, but it may also see you looking at the client list and asking yourself, why am I limiting myself to this demographic? So you might be starting to think a bit more big picture, which is great. For those of you that are retired or no longer working for any reason, I mean, your judgment card bodes well, right? Because it suggests that you are ready for a big change. And in a lot of ways, I think this is going to see you coming out of your shell, right? And as if Geminis need any help with that usually. But you guys have been in a pretty weird space for a while, right? There's been a lot going on with you guys, certainly behind the scenes. And I think this week, you might certainly really start to be able to make sense of it all. For your money and materials, you have the Queen of Pentacles. So really starting to understand where money needs to be tightened, where the budget maybe needs to be looked at. This, for a lot of you as well, this could see you really start thinking in terms of more of the digital stuff, cryptocurrency, stocks and shares, bonds, etc. This is going to see you really starting to put the work in, right? How am I going to maximize on my returns? What do I need to know in order to make these things work for me? Which is great. For your physical health and vitality, this is going to be your stomach, your digestive system, that whole general area. This week, I would, because it looks like you're doing a lot. There's a lot going on. And this week it might be just temptation to, just grab something quick because you've got so much else going on. If you don't nourish and nurture yourself properly, it's really hard to have the energy and the focus that you need, all right? For your home and environment, well, for a lot of you, for some of you, this could be literally you packing your stuff in order to get your move on. For some of you, this is you going through all the stuff that you have in sort of preparation for a move that's coming up, or even just to declutter the place. And it kind of suggests to me as well that this is going to be about you really being able to think better. It's kind of like, usually, Geminis can do the whole organized chaos thing. It doesn't really faze them. I think at the moment, because of the transitions that you're going through personally, you will need a clearer space, and that will start to reflect in the mind, right? For your love and relations, you have the Strength card. For those of you that are single this week, if you are meeting somebody, it is going to be an online connection. Now, with what we know about the astrology, things are slightly nebulous for the next few weeks. What with your own sign having its own, its ruling planet, Mercury, going retrograde in your sign, it's going to be really important for you to vet the people that you talk to, right? This is the reason I say this, is because this person could say all the right things. They could press all the right buttons and scratch all the right itches, but sometimes I'm just like, Raph. Yeah, this is the problem when you have an Aquarius sun. There's no filter, it just comes straight through. This would be a time, especially this week in particular, just make sure that you vet the people that you're talking to, because you could be really smitten with the way that this connection is going, and you just want to make sure that this person is who they actually say they are. For those of you that are partnered or in relationships, there is going to be a challenge to your relationship this week. And if I'm completely honest with you, because you've got the Judgment card in the communications and conversations, remember the Judgment card can be things that are finite. And this suggests that there may be a final judgment call this week. So for some of you, a select few, not all, you may be deciding whether the relationship is going to continue or whether it isn't. That's not an easy conversation to have, but just remember there's a lot going on up there, so try. I'm not saying don't listen to your heart. What I'm saying is don't get too caught up in your feelings, right? Because the heart and the head, when they battle, it's knee-jerk reaction stuff, right? And I think this week you might have a little bit of that. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.